Joining us now to talk about Donald Trump's weekend and his today, Trump's campaign's national spokesperson, Katrina Pierson, who comes to us live from Dallas, and Trump's surrogate, Boris Epshteyn. Welcome to you both. Thank you. I want to ask you both the same question to start. Katrina, you first, and thank you for joining us. We've wanted you on the show for a long time. How do you feel about the totality of what Donald Trump has said? How do you feel as a person about what he said about the cons?
Well, I feel that this is something that I've been expecting, just being on the grassroots side of the Republican Party for a very long time. This particular election was going to be rough and tough, and I fully expected the Democrats to do what they do best, and that is to politicize everything, and for the media to constantly attack and barrage the candidate.
If I could just ask you to focus on what I asked you, which is, how do you feel about what Mr. Trump has said?
That is what I told you how I feel.
That's not what you commented on the media, not about what he said.
Well, every time I go on a TV show, it's to correct the record or to explain something that a journalist or the Democrats have taken out of context. So if you're asking me how I feel that Donald Trump is not your typical politician and does what he always does. He defends himself when attacked, and I understand that the media and the Democrats aren't used to a Republican who has a backbone that's going to fight back.
I appreciate all you're saying, and it's responsive, though, not to what I'm asking. I'll ask one more time, and then we'll move on. How do you feel about what, as a person, about what Mr. Trump has said about the cons?
I feel Mr. Trump has been defending himself like he always has.
Okay. How do you feel about what he said?
I'm fine with what he said. I was there at the DNC. I saw the speech. And again, let's start with this. I myself, the Trump campaign, Katrina, and Mr. Trump have utmost respect for Captain Khan, for his parents, for their loss, for their supreme sacrifice. So that is a baseline that we do not want to move off of.
Would it have been better if he'd emphasized that in his initial comments?
He is somebody who was attacked by Mr. Khan from the DNC. And it was not act as it was a bipartisan speech, right? I've been asked this question today. Well, he was at the DNC, so it was a partisan affair, and he spoke in a partisan way, right? It was an attacking speech against Donald Trump, and Donald Trump saw the speech, reacted to the speech, and you know, some of the comments were in direct response to questions by George Stephanopoulos. So I'm fine with what he said.
So when you hear the VFW, Senator McCain, veterans, Republican veterans, Democratic veterans who come out and say, you know what, this guy paid the ultimate price of defending his country. His parents have a right to say whatever they want. You say what to those veterans of both parties who are deeply, profoundly offended by what Mr. Trump has said?
Again, they, just like Mr. Trump and very much like the cons, have their right to their opinion. I happen to disagree. I think that the Gold Star parents deserve, again, utmost respect, absolute respect. But do they get to say whatever they want?
So you're saying they're wrong to be offended?
Who's wrong to be offended?
The many, many veterans groups that are
Absolutely
outraged?
Not. They have their right to be offended, just like Mr. Trump has the right to be offended by things said about him. Everybody has their right to their own feelings and to take, you know, the comments whichever way they will.
Katrina, one of Mr. Trump's close confidants for a long time is Roger Stone. Over the course of the last couple days, he's first accused Mr. Khan of being part of a radical Muslim group that was tied to the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood. He's now tweeted that he's correcting the record and saying that's not true. His association with this is with the Saudi jihadi and a man named Omar Nassif, who's a 9/11 funder, according to Mr. Stone. How do you want to associate yourself with those accusations of Roger Stone, or do you have any other kind of response to that?
Well, you'll have to ask Roger Stone. Roger Stone's not a part of the campaign, and I don't represent him. So you'll have to take that up with Mr. Stone.
All right, so you have no comment on someone who's a close confidant of Mr. Trump doing that, even from the context of
I don't know what Roger Stone is talking about. So you're going to have to talk to Roger Stone about that. What I cannot do is sit here and try to tell you something I know nothing about. Right. Although I do appreciate the efforts of trying to tie him to the campaign, but I'll say again, Roger Stone is not a part of the campaign, and therefore you'll need to talk to him.
Trina, let me ask you this. Do you consider the matter with the cons to be over and done with?
Oh, I do, absolutely. You know, Mr. Trump responded after the speech, and it was Mr. Khan who went out and did all of the TV shows, and Mr. Trump responded again. I don't see that happening in the future. Mr. Trump made very clear that he had nothing to do with the death of Mr. Khan's son, who was definitely a war hero. So it's just a little bit disconcerting on why this attack was even lodged at Mr. Trump, considering Mr. Trump had nothing to do with the Iraq war, whereas Hillary Clinton voted for it, and then she didn't support the troop surge, then wanted to go into Afghanistan, not to mention the failures in Libya, which is putting all of our servicemen in danger as we speak. Donald Trump has nothing to do with that man's son.
Boris, what do you think is going on with Mr. Trump's comments, or what do you know is going on with his comments about the debate schedule? You think
if you look at the debate schedule, 2 debates are scheduled on NFL nights. I'm a fan. I don't know if you're fans or not. And it is worrying that certain folks may not be watching the debates. We want as many people as possible to watch the debates. You know what happened in the Democrat primary. That came out in the emails. They tried to, on purpose, purposefully, to put the debates on Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, being, joking, but something to that effect. So we want to make sure that the same thing does not happen in the presidential debates.
Do you think he is fully committed to doing 3 debates, regardless of what the dates end up being, fully committed to doing the 3 debates that have become the standard for the presidential candidates?
You would have to ask him personally, but that's absolutely what I understand. You were just with him not too long ago, so. But that's what I understand, and I think the issue here really is about the dates of the debates and making sure you maximize the amount of viewership and don't minimize it as the Democrats did in their primary, and really hurting Bernie Sanders in that way.
So we did a little analysis of this in the month of October. There's literally not a single date in October where there's not either a baseball playoff game, a football game, a national holiday. There's not one day in October where there's nothing that conflicts with this. Unlike a big thing that conflicts with it. So what do you guys propose to do about that problem?
Listen, the debates are being negotiated, I think, this week. The negotiations are ongoing. The proposal from Mr. Trump is not to have them on NFL football days. So that's where it is. If you look at the dates, there are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and understand there are playoffs, MLB playoffs, which are not historically, though, as widely viewed as NFL Sunday night, Monday night games.
Katrina Pierson, I know you've long been a critic of the press for being liberally biased. Do you think right now Hillary Clinton is getting easier coverage than Mr. Trump? And if so, what's your clearest example of that?
Well, I do think Hillary Clinton has got some passes. I mean, we do hear occasionally, particularly when she goes on national television and lies again about the email scandal in Benghazi. But what we don't see with Hillary Clinton, which is what happens almost daily now with Mr. Trump, is one sentence pulled completely out of context and a headline created around that. To this day, I have not seen anyone in the media correct the record with regard to Mr. Trump's immigration ban for Muslims, because it was immigration. The media has gone out there and proposed that his ban was for all Muslims, including United States citizens, which that was not the case. It was always in context with immigration, and it was always in the context of being temporary until we could figure out who the individuals were coming into this country. So that's just an example.
Well, in the example you gave, initially it wasn't clear, but now it seems to have shifted to being a policy that has to do with countries rather than all Muslims. And yet the candidate himself has never enunciated that in a policy position. Is that unambiguously the policy of the campaign? It's not a ban on Muslim immigration, but on ban of people from countries where there seem to be problems? And if so, why doesn't the candidate say it that way?
It's been pretty clear on that.
There's no policy.
It was a refined, absolutely. It was a refined message, considering if you go to the website and look under his policies, you will find that. And he does talk about that clarification simply because the media is not reporting the correct policy position for Mr. Trump. So that's clarification for the public's notice, not the media.
What was the reason of the change to go from a ban on Muslims, temporary ban on Muslim immigration, to a ban on immigration from certain countries? Why did he change?
Because the media never reported it as an immigration policy. The media continued to report it as a flat-out ban on all Muslims, including American Muslims.
Well, no, but eventually it was reported it was reported as a temporary ban on Muslims, all Muslims immigrating to the country. It was then switched apparently to a ban on people from certain countries. What was the purpose, reason, the rationale?
Hostile nations, yes.
Right. What was the rationale for the change?
Because it's a matter of national security, and again, the original ban was temporary until we could figure out what's going on. And since then, FBI Director Comey has come out and said we could not vet these individuals for certain areas. The CIA has confirmed ISIS is infiltrating refugees. And so Mr. Trump wanted to clarify it's going to be from those nations where potential terrorists could come into this country.